productions. Three Māori women, Sharon Hawke, Glenys Paraha, Leonie Pihama, have produced short films, and in particular, Not Negotiable has one particular extract where the dusky maiden stereotype gets to talk back to its history, to her history. And Moko Productions offer a kaupapa Māori approach to filmmaking, which seeks to decolonise the audience and assert a viewpoint from te ao Māori, but also from mana wahine Māori point of view.
The Great White Daughter is an example. Appropriate Monday, the
This is a very poor quality extract from the online archive that Lisa Reihana has made available, which takes extracts from her native portraits work, which you can actually see part of in the te papa, in the waharua, the digital waharua that's there. Go and see it, it's great. Native Portraits remains one of Lisa Reihana's most critically acclaimed artworks and has been exhibited in major international art galleries since its completion in 1998. Originally commissioned for the opening of the Papa, Native Portraits drew on colonial photographs and postcards held in the museum's collection to create a series of video vignettes that brought to life scenes from the colonial past as well as more recent times. Reihana reworked these museum materials, principally photographs from the 19th century photographers Alfred and Walter Burton, using themes, aesthetic structures and cultural elements drawn from the world of Māori. As Megan Aotearoa describes the work, Native Portraits recreated in contemporary and moving image form elements of marae architecture and art, where Māori concepts relating to time and representation were combined with ideas of tourism, history and technology. Both Urali and Reihana's reworking of dusky maiden imagery highlights the endlessly flexible and elastic nature of this image and ideal. And while some might see their work as primarily a process of debunking, i.e. the dusky maiden has oppressed us, I see their work as holding and embracing a range of tensions and conflicts and fostering a conversation that has really yet to begin. Until now. Reihana's native reenactments and Urali's affirmative repetitions of the dusky maiden demonstrate the duplicitous power of imaging technologies. On the one hand, certain attention and care has to be taken to ensure the integrity of the representations. On the other hand, once an image or idea is distributed, the effects of that dissemination can never be conclusively understood nor controlled. I'll give you an example of this duplicitous dynamic. In the early 1930s, an American filmmaker came to film the exotic peoples of New Zealand in a film called Hey Piki. His name was Alexander Markey, and he was understood to be a bit of a con artist. He struck a deal with Tūwhare Tour to gain their assistance in producing his feature film. According to film scholar Minette Hillier, everybody who worked on the production of Hey Piki suffered some loss, including the loss of taonga linked to Markey for the duration of the shot. He took it back to America. Yet the residual effects of his encounter with Aotearoa still live on.
A school hall in Bluff. The Bradshaw family and friends gather to watch a movie none of them have seen before. And for 8 of the audience, it has a particular importance. The female lead of this recently rediscovered feature film is their mother. She died when 2 of the children were still babies. They're watching a woman they never had a chance to know. Tiki has become an important piece of New Zealand film history. To the Bradshaws, history with an extra significance.
It was beautiful, you know, I didn't crack up or anything, but just see her walk, reach out and touch. You know, that meant a lot to me. I couldn't believe that we'd all come from that woman.
Maiden dynamic, I'd say that this stereotype helps cloak ongoing forms of social regulation and contributes to the aestheticisation of investment space that Harsh talks about in ways that might foster a multitude of interests. The Dusky Maiden dynamic also includes a range of repertoires and citational structures that one cannot help but want to inhabit as a woman with whakapapa links to this history. There is a force to these images that cannot be refuted. I think this current exhibition upstairs offers a glimpse of the increasingly diverse ways of expressing mana wahine Māori. Before we open up this session to a general discussion, I want to make some links between the works upstairs and the issues I've just raised. Preliminary links, work in progress links. I started with a comment on contemporary global culture and how the Dusky Maiden can work to secure a national brand on a global stage. Yet globalisation can also offer up images, ideas and role models that can help secure personal and gendered identity. Vicky Thomas's self-portrait number 3 from a 2009 series draws on influences from the 1970s American cinema, and particularly the celebrity persona of Pam Grier. Thomas's face, image, is the face of Maiden Aotearoa, most likely because it is an image with the broadest appeal. Imagine if other self-portraits from this series had been chosen to frame Maiden Aotearoa. And I think a populist appeal fits with what I understand of Thomas's artistic and political strategies. Use stereotypes to break down stereotypes. Take the opportunity to engage with the sanctioned ignorance surrounding issues of race and culture. Thomas has worked at Deane Gallery in Auckland for 8 years, and this business space attracts many international and local customers eager to engage with Māori art and with Māori. Thomas is often asked about how to access the authentic Māori world. Where are the wild Māori? And she is often asked to pose for photographs. She sees these encounters as opportunities to educate people. And she read and engaged with the work of Coco Fusco when she was in art school. In 1993, Fusco and her partner at the time, Gomez Pena, exhibited themselves as caged Indians from an imaginary island. While the artist's intent was to create a satirical comment on the notion of anthropological discovery, they soon realised that many of their viewers believed the fiction and thought the artists were real savages. And it is this kind of framing and deframing that Thomas's work draws attention to. So this is first of all.
I studied a lot about the Indians, but this is one tribe that I didn't know of.
I have no idea what they're called. I asked whether there were Mayans, but they said that they didn't know. I just find it really strange. I've never heard about it. I've been in Guatemala and I read a lot about like American Indians, and I've never heard about it.
of a nation-state that might put Te Ao Māori at the centre of considerations. This is a worthy endeavour to imagine, and it reminds me of how important art is to the imagining of some place different, however contingent and ideal that place might be. As Diana Bryden has argued, politics is an art of imagining the possible. It involves a fresh way of posing problems and an openness to difference. Tamaki's art punctures complacent notions of the nation and asks us to think otherwise. Deeply invested in current politics, Tamaki's work shares something with the work of Amy Ratana. To me, this work is all about whakapapa and the potency of imaging technologies to secure a sense of place, belonging and whānau under conditions that seek to destroy these connections. While I've spent much time discussing the history of imaging technologies as a process of reification of Indigenous peoples, I hope I've also acknowledged how imaging technologies have helped foster whānau connections and enriched understandings of place, belonging and continuity. Amy can cite 5 generations of photographic whakapapa, and this is an amazing history to build upon and to feel secure in. Accordingly, Ratana's work pays homage to the resistant and resilient dimensions of photographic technologies and culture. I just want to play you, it's a pretty out of sync clip of a recent documentary called I Am the River, which talks about some collections of photographs from Wanganui, the Partington collection. It's an excellent documentary. I urge you to see it, so I'll just play the promo if you haven't seen it.
They were just blown away by the number of photos.
It was wonderful to see.
Our people had made it very clear, come and get us.
You could see tension elevating in the room.
How would they feel if a photo of their grandmother was being auctioned off?
There was shock and dismay.
There was a feeling of physicality.
It was about the sense of responsibility back to our queer.
And then this gentleman stood up.
Immediately I knew there was trouble tension.
I am the river. Rā horoi, haurua o te waru.
This documentary documents the importance of photography in terms of iwi identity and whānau. And when folk in Wanganui noticed that there was a tupuna in the paper advertising this auction that was happening up in Auckland, people mobilised, got in a car and went up to Auckland to stop the auction to bring their tupuna back. It's a powerful documentary, I urge you to see it. Finally, the youngest artist in the exhibition, Sarah Hudson's work, I think demarcates a significant turn in discussions of representations of manawahine Māori. At once works that want to register the damaging effects of colonial photography, a desire that is deeply embedded in her own sense of whānau and history. I think Hudson's work in this exhibition offers up a powerful provocation. Some have responded negatively to her digital erasure of prior presences in her artworks, and I feel this discomfort, but I also wonder if this performative reenactment might not have a pedagogical effect. Might it not tell us something about the importance of images, history and connection in a world where images are increasingly ephemeral, transient, open to manipulation? To my mind, Māori beauty reminds me of those women who have lost or never had a photographic whakapapa. As I said, Amy can trace her family back through 5 generations, due in part to the power of photography. Sarah's empty frame, empty but full, reminds me of all those stories, images and connections lost to so many other women due to ongoing processes of colonisation.